Guys, have you ever spent enough time in both a province and a city that you started feeling like you were living in two completely different worlds? Not different countries, not different planets, the same country, the same people, the same language, and yet somehow everything feels different. The pace, the sounds, the food, the neighbors, even the way people greet each other. I first realized this during one summer when I spent part of my vacation in the province and part of it back in the city. At first I thought it wouldn't be a big deal. A place is a place, right? Well, not exactly. The first thing I noticed in the province was the silence. And guys, when I say silence, I don't mean complete silence. I mean the kind of silence that city people almost forget exists. No constant traffic, no endless car horns, no construction noise coming from somewhere in the distance, no motorcycles racing past every few minutes. Instead, you hear different things: birds, wind moving through the trees, roosters that apparently never received the memo that mornings have a starting time. Seriously, some roosters seem personally offended by the concept of sleep. One morning, I woke up because the rooster decided that 4 a.m. was the perfect time to announce his existence to the entire neighborhood. I wasn't even angry, I was just impressed by the confidence. Meanwhile, my cousin who lived there acted like it was completely normal. He slept through it. How? I still don't know. That was my first lesson. People get used to the sounds around them. In the city, people sleep through traffic. In the province, people sleep through roosters. Everybody adapts. The second thing I noticed was how people seem to know everybody. Guys, this was shocking. Back in the city, you can live next to someone for years and barely know their name. In the province, sometimes your neighbor knows your grandparents, your parents, your childhood nickname, and probably the story of that embarrassing thing you did when you were 6. One afternoon, I walked outside with my cousin. Every few minutes, someone greeted him, then another person, then another, then another. It felt like he was a celebrity. Meanwhile, I was standing there wondering how half the town apparently knew who he was. The funny part, many of them somehow knew who I was too. I'd only arrived a few days earlier, yet somehow people were already saying things like, "So you're the cousin from the city." Guys, news travels faster than the internet in some places. I still don't know how they knew. Maybe the trees told them, maybe the chickens have a communication network. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised. Life itself felt different. In the province, people seemed less rushed. Not lazy, just less rushed. People had conversations that lasted longer. Neighbors stopped to talk, children played outside until sunset, people sat outside their houses in the evenings simply talking. No particular reason, just talking. And honestly, it felt nice. One evening, I sat outside with some relatives while the sky slowly turned orange. Nobody was looking at their phones every few seconds. Nobody seemed in a hurry. The conversation moved naturally from funny stories to old memories to random topics that somehow made sense at the time. Before I knew it, hours had passed, and that's when I realized something. The province seemed to measure time differently. Not literally, but emotionally. People weren't always racing against the clock. Then, eventually, summer ended, and I returned to the city. The first day back felt strange. The silence was gone, the traffic returned, the crowds returned, the fast pace returned. Suddenly, everyone seemed to be walking somewhere important. People moved quickly, conversations were shorter, schedules were tighter, everything felt faster. At first, it was overwhelming, but after a few days, I remembered something. The city has its own kind of magic. Guys, let's be honest, the city can be exciting. There are places to visit, restaurants to try, malls, events, movie theaters, arcades, new things happening all the time. In the province, a big event might be the arrival of visitors. In the city, something new seems to happen every weekend. One afternoon, while walking through a busy area, I watched hundreds of people moving in different directions. Everyone had somewhere to be, everyone had a goal, everyone had a story. And suddenly I realized that the city wasn't less interesting than the province, it was interesting in a different way. The province teaches you how to slow down. The city teaches you how to keep up. The province gives you space.
The city gives you opportunities. The province helps you notice small things. The city helps you discover new things. Neither one is perfect. Neither one is better. They're simply different. Of course, every place has its funny moments. In the province, one of the biggest adventures could be walking through muddy roads after a rain. Guys, if you've never experienced that, imagine trying to walk while the ground actively tries to steal your slippers. Every step becomes a negotiation. Meanwhile, city adventures are different. Missing your stop, getting lost in a giant mall, accidentally taking the wrong route and ending up somewhere you've never been before. Both create stories, both create memories, both become things you laugh about later. But the biggest difference wasn't the roads or the buildings, it was the people. Not because people are better in one place than the other, because people express kindness differently. In the province, kindness often feels immediate. People offer food, invite you inside, ask if you've eaten, make sure you're comfortable. In the city, kindness can be quieter. A stranger holding a door, someone helping with directions, a classmate sharing notes, a neighbor helping carry groceries. Different expressions, same heart. And that's what stayed with me the most. Underneath all the differences, people are still people. Everybody wants friendship. Everybody wants belonging. Everybody wants someone to laugh with. Everybody wants to feel at home. The surroundings may change, the lifestyle may change, the pace may change, but those things remain the same. Years later, I still think about that summer. The mornings filled with roosters, the evenings filled with conversations, the crowded streets, the busy sidewalks, the feeling of moving between two completely different worlds. And honestly, I'm grateful for both, because the province taught me how to appreciate quiet moments. The city taught me how to appreciate opportunities. The province taught me that slowing down isn't wasting time. The city taught me that ambition isn't a bad thing. Together, they gave me a bigger picture of life. And every time someone asks me which one I prefer, I always remember the same question that started it all. Guys, have you ever spent enough time in both a province and a city that you started feeling like you were living in two completely different worlds?